Right, welcome back. Now, contrary to reports trending on social media, the Bayelsa State Police Command debunked rumors of death when someone identified men clashed with policemen at the Niger Delta University. That's in Masuma. All right, we had taken that story before, but let's go to the next story. A bill seeking a 2 million naira fine and jail term. That's about, and then jail term of 2 years for persons who contravene ban placed on tramadol and codeine by the federal government has passed the second reading at the House of Representatives. The bill was sponsored by the chairman, House Committee on Health Institutions, Betty Apiafi. The bill, which is an amendment bill, seeks to amend the Food, Drugs and Related Products Act, of course, Cap 53 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004. Let's now bring in Dr. Dokun Adedeji to talk to us more about this now. Thank you very much indeed for coming, Doctor.
My pleasure, I can.
Well, we were talking off air and I asked the question, is this the solution to the problem that we have on hand? A 2 million naira fine and 2-year jail term for anybody who contravenes the law?
You can notice that I began to laugh. That, that is the extent of ignorance depicted by these people. You know, the sad thing for me, and it's a very painful acknowledgement, that we have people who do not understand the fundamentals of what they're doing. How can someone get up and say, we will fine somebody who contravenes the law that prohibits the use of codeine or tramadol? Absolutely unbelievable.
And who are those who are likely to contravene these laws? For instance, a young man on the street, when the BBC report emerged, we saw the people, the kind of people that were shown that got involved in the abuse of these drugs. So are these ones the ones that will pay the 2 billion naira fine?
You see, the thing is, whether they can afford it or not is not the important thing. That is what we call double jeopardy. Somebody is a victim of a circumstance, and you are punishing for being a victim. It just belies on my understanding. The other time, a senator got up in Senate to say, each local government should have a rehabilitation center. And I sat down and I began to wonder, what level of sensibility do these people have of the understanding of the things that happen in this country? They just sit in Abuja, aloof and cocooned away in what they do, and they'll say anything they like. How in God's name would a fine be the next thing to do for someone that is suffering already from a situation?
And you know, Doctor, I'm reminded of the words of a pre-Socratic philosopher, Thrasymachus, who said, justice is in the interest of the strong. That is to say, the leaders in society, when they make laws it's usually in their own interest and not in the interest of the mass of the people.
Absolutely. Look, you know, for me, it's so painful that we have to go through this kind of. It begins to tell me, how do we pick these people to represent us? How do they win elections? On what basis have they won elections? On the basis of crass ignorance or absolute irresponsibility? When you make laws to suit you. I mean, look at what happened in the Senate, calling the IG of police to come and speak because one of them was detained. What makes him different from the average Nigerian who contravenes the law? I mean, look, I blame Nigerians because we absorb every whims and caprices of those people, and we walk away from it without caring, because the only thing that bothers us is what is on my table, what is in this for me. For as long as we do that, you see, somebody said something that I read somewhere. He said, we must prepare our children for the road, not the road for the children. If we don't begin to reconstruct our psyche as to the understanding of societal factors, we will continue to have this kind of people in government, and then we take all the nonsense they do.
And it does appear to me like we have not really, I mean, they are not looking at the fundamentals.
Absolutely.
The issues that are responsible for what is going on at the moment. If youths are engaged, for instance, if there is employment for everyone, nobody would think of, going to abuse, some of those drugs.
I agree with you on the score that they do not understand the fundamentals. Not only that, they do not even understand the dynamics of societal evolution. If they do, they will not be so ignorant of the things that go on around them. What do I mean by this? Even if you give jobs to everyone, if everybody goes to school, there will still be some errant people who do this thing. But the important thing, what is the duty of society when there's an errant behavior is to correct it and then to help them in a manner that they have understand. Look, I've dealt with these people for about 26 years, the people who call drug addicts. I find them extremely intelligent. Many of them today are doctors, are lawyers. So how can you consign them to irrelevance when because something happened? The thing is, do we understand the preponderance of availability of these drugs in this society? Do we understand what drives them to use drugs? Do we understand the lapses that are inherent in our society? When a man can walk into any pharmacy and buy any drug over the counter, are you holding the victim solely responsible? Where are the laws? Where are the interdictive forces? Where are the relevant agencies at this point? You see, it's a gamut of lapses, and then you cannot then punish the victim. You see, many of these people who sit in Abuja and do this, I guarantee you many of their kids do the drugs. How many of them will go to jail? Because I know it's not a matter of conjecture. Some of them have come to us for rehabilitation, and so we should publish their names so that they can be fined. Instead of facing the fundamentals that we face as a people and then correct those lapses so that we can have a better future and a better youth grade, they are sitting down looking for punitive measures. It just shows you the kind of people who are in governance.
Well, I mean, something else that also is of great importance here is a process of supply. The supply chain also needs to be checked properly, isn't it?
Thank you very much. You know, a few months ago I wrote the Senate President about this issue before the BBC carried it. I've had many discussions with top shots in NDLA about what we were going through as far back as 15 years. Nobody listened. They thought it was just... The thing to do is, should we not sit down and begin to understand what goes on? You know what is happening? UNODC, whatever the international agencies, you know what they do? They give you technological advancement protocol at the airport. You can catch people who want to export some of them. But what happened to the drugs that are domesticated? If Nigeria sits down and looks at the NDLEA structure and begin to say, and they understand the dynamics of drug use and what's happening, then we begin to know many years back that the issue we need to deal with now is serious advocacy, so that demand is reduced. If there are no demand, supply will dry up.
Absolutely.
It can't entirely, but it will most drastically do. But hey, who cares?
All right, Dr. Dokun Adedeji, we thank you very much indeed for coming to share your thoughts with us.
Thank you very much
As
for
always.
bringing me.